Community Hotline is made possible with generous support by the Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission. The Mount Hood Cable Regulatory Commission advocates on behalf of the public interest on communications policy issues at the local, state, and federal levels.
Hi, welcome to Community Hotline. My name is Monica Weitzel, and we're in Gresham at MetroEast Community Media. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're going to start out tonight talking with the American Red Cross about a really fun event that's coming up. And with us representing the American Red Cross is Elizabeth Butler. Thanks for being here, Elizabeth.
Good to be back. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to have you again. And you are the donor recruitment representative,
yes.
Correct? So do you do this for like a whole bunch of different events? Is that what that means?
I do this for a living.
Yeah.
So I always tell people when I introduce myself, I organize blood drives for the American Red Cross.
Okay.
On average, I do 20 to 25 a month.
Wow, that's a lot.
You're telling me. My territory is fairly small. It's mostly the downtown and the Pearl District and the Northwest Industrial.
Okay.
But lots of businesses there, lots of people, 8 to 5. I have a whole lot of potential donors. And so most of my drives are business drives, excepting one like this that's on a Saturday.
Well, this is a really unique event. I think it's really fun, and I'm sorry that Ken Kane couldn't join us because he's been involved with that. He's one of the ones that kind of gets it going, isn't he, for this? So this event is called What Color Do You Bleed? Which the first time I heard that, I thought, what color do you bleed? What does that mean? Tell our viewers what exactly we're talking about when we say that.
In November of every year, we, as the American Red Cross and some other area blood banks, sponsor a Civil War blood drive competition between the Ducks and the Beavers. And Ken Kane and his alumni group from Syracuse University, I've got to get that plug in for Ken.
Yes.
They kind of decided to do their own version, but not limit it to Ducks and Beavers competition. So they have a competition of blood donations between various alumni groups based out of the Portland area. He represents
quite a
Syracuse.
few, aren't there?
Apparently there are lots of them, yes. And he's a big cheerleader for his, and so he's, Hey, I
gotta hand it to him. He gets people there. So yeah, so I remember in previous years going and giving blood and them saying, hey, do you want to be on the Ducks team or the Beavers team? Which was really hard for me because I went to Oregon State, but my daughter went to U of O and graduated there. So, and then I had friends who, were at U of O, and it was, it was hard to decide. But, you do it and it was fun, and see who comes out on top. And there were some prizes and things involved too, if I remember correctly.
Yep, we have in November, not to keep going back to that, but throughout the month of November leading up to the Civil War game, we offer all donors the opportunity to vote for their favorite team.
Right.
What color do you bleed? Green or orange in that case. And that automatically enters them into a raffle to win a pair of tickets for the Civil War game.
Okay.
So this is an adaptation of that. Unfortunately, we couldn't raffle off tickets to every single
Civil War game across the country.
Every game, but we definitely ask donors, and Ken definitely asks donors when he's checking them in, what's your favorite team? Who are you voting for? What color do you bleed?
So people come to this event, and this is at a bar, right?
Yes, at the Civic Tap Room.
Civic Tap Room is located at 621 Southwest 19th. So that's up by Providence Park.
Yes.
Okay.
Just north of Providence Park, right off Burnside.
Okay.
It's in a little strip with Boise Fries, who co-sponsors our blood drive there.
Yeah, I know
so
that. Okay.
Yeah, shout out to the Civic Tap Room for hosting us, and Boise Fries for sponsoring and providing some free fries post-donation.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So when people show up there between 11:30 and 5, they can come in and they can sign in
Yes.
and say, I'm donating for Syracuse University, or I'm donating for, whatever, Stanford, I'm donating for, Gonzaga, whoever they're an alumni from, doesn't matter.
Or if they're an alumni from anywhere. If you have blood, we'll take it.
You bleed red? Fine, we'll take that.
If you answer all of the health history questions correctly, that is. But yeah, we're not discriminating. We'll take all donors, college athlete, fans or not.
But then they do, at the end, kind of tally it up, don't they?
They do.
Which alumni were the best donors and give them props for that.
Yes.
And there's games on TV there, right? So people can come and watch their favorite football games.
Kind of also a draw. Free fries. Great location.
Yeah, very fun.
The owner of the Civic Tap Room, Spencer Raymond, is kind of the co-host with Ken Kane, and he's generous enough to let us use his space for registering donors that we then send out to the Bloodmobile that's parked on the street there. So lots of community support, not just from the alumni clubs themselves, but also from a couple of businesses downtown, which is great. And again, not limited to college football fans. We'll take any and all donors who want to come along. You do not have to pre-schedule an appointment, though we definitely
just show up.
Yeah,
if you want to.
we definitely encourage it.
So for people who have never ever donated blood, and I don't happen to be one of them because I've done it tons of times. A lot of people don't realize how easy it is. Tell me a little bit about the process of what you do when you go in to donate blood.
The whole process, start to finish, takes about an hour. You're actually donating blood for a little more than 7 minutes of that.
Yeah.
The average donation takes between 7 and 10 minutes. But prior to taking your blood, we have you read over some pre-qualifiers for the process. We want to make sure that the blood that we take to transfuse to patients eventually is as safe and healthy as possible. So we pre-qualify all of our donors with a series of questions about travel outside of the country, medications you might be taking, etc. And then to kind of piggyback from and expand on that, we take donors into a private health history booth and we ask them more specific and just more questions.
And confidential.
All confidential, completely confidential. Yeah, we ask donors to just, for instance, come with a list of countries they've visited in the last 12 to 36 months to have that on reference. We want to screen out for malaria risk, things of that nature. During that private interview, we take your blood pressure. We test your hematocrit, which is essentially the iron content of your blood. We take your temperature. We want to make sure that you're doing healthy and well for the sake of the patients, and also because we want you to not have an adverse reaction to donating.
And ask you how you're feeling.
Yeah, are you feeling healthy and well today? That's the most important question we ask our donors, perhaps. Then onto the bed for the donation, which again, you're on the bed for about 15 minutes, and then we allot that additional 15 minutes for each step along the way. That last 15 minutes, in this case, we serve you Boise fries. Generally, we serve you Cheez-Its or
some sort of crackers or something, and maybe juice or water, whatever. I
always tell people, eat well before you donate, drink really well, meaning water,
hydrate,
for 48 hours beforehand, and eat and drink well afterwards. That's the best recipe for a good donation before and after.
Good. And, it's nice to be able to get your blood pressure checked for free. The thing that's nice about it, though, if for any reason, after you hear the questions, you feel like, I don't know that my blood would be safe. You don't have to fess up and say why. You can just, there's a way to kind of opt out without.
Call back later.
It's confidential. And
yeah, if you develop any flu-like symptoms, if you develop a fever or symptoms of a cold that go beyond allergies, we ask you to give us a call back within 24 hours. Or if for some reason one of the questions, felt uncomfortable to answer, you're welcome to call back.
Yeah, which is, that's a good thing. And it's really painless. I mean, the people that do this have done this a ton of times. They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing.
I don't like to look when they stick the needle in, but I don't feel it. And usually, personally, one of the things I like best about it is just talking with everybody there. Because when you're in that, so this is going to be one of those mobile units, right?
Yep.
There's other people on the beds over there, everybody's chatting, having a good time. I can imagine at this event, because of the nature of the event, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
You're going to have a bunch of trash talking in there while they're giving blood.
Little competition, friendly competition, yeah.
So tell me, Elizabeth, about the need for blood right now. Tell me what's going on at the Red Cross and what are your greatest needs?
I almost feel like we always say the need for blood is so great, we need your donation immediately. And the reality is that we do. There are lots of folks who simply cannot donate for whatever reason. They're not eligible because of travel outside of the country, because of medications that they're taking, because of previous conditions that they've had that just don't set them up for,
Right.
being good donors.
Not everybody can do it.
Healthy donors, yeah. So there's a small enough percentage of the population that's able to donate, and then an even smaller percentage of the population that actually does donate. We're always asking, and sometimes donors get frustrated, like, stop calling me, stop asking me to donate blood. And my couple of responses to that are, if you come and donate, I'll stop asking you. And then secondly, if you or someone you love ever has the need for blood, you're going to be glad that we're persistent.
Yeah,
because
that's right.
Our primary mission is to make sure that we collect enough blood from volunteer blood donors. We are completely reliant on our volunteer blood donors so that we can supply the hospitals the blood that they need to transfuse to patients. So the need is great every single day. We're coming off of the summer. Summer months are always difficult. We get so much of our blood. Upwards of 30% of our blood comes from high school and college students, 25 to 30% of our supply. So when they're out, it's difficult.
Yeah.
We're going into the holiday season, which is always a difficult season. I feel like there's no season that's not, a time for us to say we need.
There. So you hear about it more when there's some sort of disaster, right? And when there's a tsunami and there's a hurricane and there's whatever else, what horrible things happen, usually an act of God, and then you hear more about that, and people I think come out maybe more for those kind of things. But those aren't the only times people need blood. I mean, it's the car accidents, it's the surgeries, it's the whatever, right? That's going on.
Yeah, a couple of things there. I think that those sorts of events make people feel like they just want to do something.
Right.
And donating blood is quick, easy, and fairly painless.
And it's free. That's one of the things I always think about is that if you don't have the money, to donate to a worthy charity that you care about, you can always volunteer time, or you can donate blood. It's an easy thing to do, and it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't take much time, so why not?
You've got it. You've got enough extra that we can take a pint of it every 56 days. Yeah. Then kind of secondary to that, we, as the Red Cross, belong to a national network of blood banks that helps to provide blood needs throughout the country.
So you share?
We share.
Okay.
Yeah, essentially, just in layman's terms, if there is a disaster somewhere in the country that prevents local blood banks from collecting, that in turn might compromise them having the supply that they need.
Right.
We're part of a network, and we can ship blood elsewhere in the country.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
So what other things does the Blood Services Department, what do you call it? Is that what it's called?
American Red Cross Blood Services.
What other things do you do besides collecting whole blood?
All we do is collect whole blood.
Okay.
I guess there's a secondary procedure called double red cells.
Okay.
Which allows us to collect double from a right type donor. Right type being O positive, O negative, B negative, or A negative. We call those right types simply because those are the ones that we need the most.
Right.
And this special apheresis procedure allows us to take essentially a double unit.
Double dose.
A double dose, of those really highly needed blood types.
Right.
Outside of that, outside of the whole blood and double red cells, there's a kind of adjoining department called apheresis, platelet apheresis, and that department is exclusively dedicated to collecting the portion of the blood that is platelets, which is an aid to people with cancer, keep going through cancer treatment. And I think you have actually more experience with giving.
Yeah, I've done that, and I used to go. It used to take longer than it does now, and I used to go in there and they'd pop in a movie for me, and I'd watch the whole movie, and it was great. It was like super relaxing. It was a way to get away from the kids. When I was
2.5 hour break. It's like bath time without the door.
It was a nice little break. But it's another thing. It's not painful. It's just it's kind of relaxing, and It's a little break in your day, and it's not hard to do, but it takes a little bit more time than the whole blood. So
we're grateful for retired people because they are some of our best platelet donors because they have more time in their schedule to donate, upwards of 2 hours to donate. But the need for platelets has been increasingly kind of desperate lately. So we welcome above and beyond. We're asking you to join us at the Civic Tap Room this weekend. If you're a platelet donor or curious about the plateletpheresis process, we'd love for you to come to our center in Northeast Portland on Vancouver Avenue. And that's the only location in Portland where we collect platelets, whereas our blood drives are mobile. They go out and about everywhere.
So answer me this. How old do you have to be to donate? You said you do it at high schools. How old do you have to be to?
You can donate of your own free will in Oregon at 17.
Okay.
At 16, you can donate with written parental consent.
Okay.
We had a 16-year-old first-time donor at the Civic Tap Room last year, which was
that was
exciting.
my next question. So it's a bar, but they can.
It's a tap room.
Yeah, it's a tap room, so they can still donate. You had some pictures, and I'm sorry, I almost forgot to bring them in, but maybe we can take a look at those.
Sure.
You tell me what we're looking at here before we run out of time here.
Some of the competition from last year, a few of our alumni supporters and donors. You'll notice the one in orange, she looks like an Illini. I grew up in Illinois, so she's close to home. She's wearing a green sticker, which indicates that she was a first-time donor, which is exciting.
Yeah, cool, and that's in the, there's Ken.
That's Ken Kane.
Yeah,
he's the champion of the What Color Do You Bleed blood drives and can't be here tonight, so we brought him in.
Yeah, I'm sorry he wasn't here. Mr. Syracuse, and another Syracuse supporter there.
That's Spencer Raymond, who is the co-owner of the Civic Tap Room.
Okay, good.
So a blood donor, and
thanks to both of them for doing this. Yeah, that's great.
Couldn't do it without
them. And those
them.
pictures were in the mobile unit.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I think we're just about out of time, but if people are interested in going down to the Civic Tap Room, it is on October 1st,
Saturday.
October 1st. Yes,
Can't believe
11:30
it's
to 5.
October.
And you don't have to have done it before. You can come on down, and you don't have to, just have to be 17 years of age or have a parent consent if you're 16, correct?
And I will just quickly mention that if you'd like to pre-schedule an appointment, which would be great, you can visit redcrossblood.org and enter into the upper right-hand corner the sponsor code WHATColor.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Make it easy.
Yeah.
Get it done ahead of time.
Takes you right to the drive schedule.
Yeah, wonderful.
And if you're eligible to donate platelets, perhaps you're not eligible to donate whole blood this weekend because you have to wait 56 days, whereas platelet apheresis has a shorter wait time.
Right.
So if you're eligible for that, we'd love to see you at our center on Vancouver Avenue.
Wonderful. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thanks so
Thanks,
much.
Monica.
I hope you get a whole bunch of people down there turning out, cheering on their teams, having a good time, rubbing elbows with the competition.
And you. I can't wait to see you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
You bet. Thanks very much for watching this first segment of Community Hotline. And don't go away. We're right back with lots more.
My documentary was more than I ever would have dreamed of doing. This is a community media station.
It was phenomenal.
Ready Camera 1.
What is it about this place that makes so many different people come together?
Ready Camera 2.
Very professional, experienced people.
You can use these industry standard pieces of equipment.
Ready Camera 3. Take 3.
You don't have to be rich to do this.
Open people's eyes to something they've never even thought of before.
Cool stuff happens. It becomes this community.
That's going to really change who's telling the stories and who's controlling the messaging.